what is the COVID situation now in Maldives?
Uh, okay. Practically see, during the time when I just reached to Maldives, let's say during the May, June, July this year, there's still like sometimes locking down, let's say doing morning locking down or afternoon locking down, mostly just to try to stop people kind of like get crowded together, right? But then later, actually, this country is very special because it is a totally tourist country. They rely on a lot about tourists and also export and import. So in this way, I think this country cannot doing this kind of locking down for all the time, right? So actually start like July, and then July, August, September, they are completely open. And then honestly, I still see a lot of people catch the COVID-19. People transfer from people to another people, but people mostly treat it not that much seriously. I would say, in my own personal opinion, right now I saw some people they catch COVID, right? But after maybe like 10 days and 14 days, uncomfortable, let's say, a kind of fever and feeling by themselves. There's nothing. I feel like in this way, it's more like Singapore say COVID-19 as a very heavier energy though.
I heard you say in Maldives they have like morning lockdowns and afternoon lockdowns. What was it like? Is it just like you cannot go outside during morning or during afternoon?
You know, I personally see, I really feel lockdown somehow in some countries really a copy idea. Okay, maybe China government is really powerful. Okay, they can do lockdown. Everybody follow. Okay, no problem.
Yes.
But in Maldives, they do lockdown like this way. You know, Maldives are made of son of island, and they have two main cities called Malé and Hulu Malé. One is their capital city. Another is their like a biggest financial city. But don't think about the city that much big. These two cities they're of big fancy community size. Okay,
Cool.
so when they do locking down, let's say they do locking down 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. After 4 p.m. people go out, people go to the restaurant, people hanging out, people play cards, people have like a party, they do whatever they love.
Oh, so that's cool. So in some days that you cannot go out in a particular time, but like people are also allowed to like have parties and have like go around and walk around. That's pretty cool. So did COVID affect your life? Like, how did it affect? Like, yep.
Okay, COVID affects my life in a practical way. You can say it is stopped me back to China. Say, I'm as a go to Maldives. I'm not like my purpose here for commercial business or for working, or I have already some friends or relatives here, right? My purpose is to travel. But before I go, the country gave you a device, except emergent, don't go out of China, right? But somehow, some reason, I don't take it that much serious because it's a device. It is not like, or it is a law, right? Or it is like something you have to obey. It's like, okay, don't kill the other people. This is a law that you have to obey. But I saw this government advice. So I just come out, and then the COVID influenced me. Is like I have really wonderful life back in China, in Dali, with nature, with beautiful farms. But right now I'm kind of stuck in Maldives with the sea surrounding me, and I don't know how to swim.
Oh, all right.
It's just to make fun.
So when did you come to Maldives?
But this is May 2nd. This is my 6th month. It's like half a year in Maldives. I'm stuck in here. I tried very hard.
Yeah, I see.
Yes.
So is it just
I
because there
tried
are
very,
only
very hard to get back to China.
yeah, is it because there are like only limited flights that fly back to China, or is it because of the like the
Yeah.
passport or something like that? Like what reason?
I think it is more about policy. The most key important reason is the policy that if you have a Chinese green code,
Yes.
then you can fly back to China. But if you don't have a green code, even you have airplane tickets, it doesn't work. Some of my friends transfer to Australia back to China, Germany back to China. They have the tickets and they have no problem with the COVID test. I do even the lens CT scanner and also some other so many times of tests, blah blah. But the thing is, I think that's because the complex policy. It's not because of the flight. Although the flight right now it is become very very rare. In Maldives, the China government require you have to take a directly flight. The directly flight is being stopped for so many, I think more than 1 year. And then you can transfer from Sri Lanka, but right now Sri Lanka flight also stopped service. Flight is not an issue. Flight is not the key important. The key important is Chinese government law or Chinese government policy that all of the rules you have to simultaneously fulfill all of their requirements in a specific time. Otherwise, even you have the flight, you are not allowed to fly back to China. This is a reality.
Yeah.
So flight really don't play an important role.
Yes, I see you're writing diaries on your WeChat, and I see how you keep trying to get back to China, but they're like stopped every time for every reason, and those reasons were just so weird. They're writing so many laws and so many rules to stop you from flying back. Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Some of my friends even they fulfill all of the rules. Okay, let's say they fulfill all of the rules, but China government take it very, very much seriously, and it's like adhere on this policy without no reason. One of my friends, her mom was in the ICU, is waiting for her to fly back and see her last time. She fulfilled the policy, but the China government still, the embassy here, still don't give her the green code. So she don't have a chance to saw her mom pass away. Actually, when I talk about this, I feel like, okay, I have ability. Okay, my English is okay, my Chinese is okay. I can find a time, I find a job, I can make a life here. But how about some people who are, maybe their language not that much good. Maybe they don't have that much money. Maybe they cannot survive in Maldives. So far, I know so many young ladies who are used to working in Maldives, and then after 2 years, they cannot fly back to China. And then they have work. They work in a fancy resort. In Maldives, they have lots of resorts. They say, it sounds like I have a country, I have a home, but I don't know when I can fly back. It's actually, for me, I cried a lot of times by myself. It's kind of like, I often say it's like if I get cancer, if I get any kind of disease, my parents won't never ever say, I'm going to abandon you. You just go out of the home. Nobody care about you. Nobody really, really love you anymore. You just go out. I think my parents won't doing this. But I feel like the same thing. Somehow I love my country, but somehow the country love you or not is another topic. Okay. And then the true thing is, I feel like I was abandoned by my own country. But if I see this, a lot of people will say, you deserve it. Why you don't love your own country? Why you didn't just stay at your own country? Why during the COVID time you flying out? It's like a lot of moral pressure will be there. If you dare not to speak out this kind of truth, you'll be the target. And everyone will be target on you.
Yes.
You really cannot
I
survive.
understand. I understand. Yes, I see this many cases like the same that many people facing the same situation that you are facing. Like, COVID lockdown in China actually take for like more than 2 years now, and there are people facing this situation. Like, there's a lot of people facing this situation, and yeah. I understand, right. During the COVID and some of the lockdowns, government haven't given any like subsidies or any like things that are offered to the lower income group or any people who are like live in Maldives.
In the past 6 months, I was living in Maldives. I didn't see any service that the government try to help the women, help the children, help the poor people, or help the immigrants who have low income. I don't see anything. But people go to mosque, they pray, and they come out with, "Oh, I believe in God." But if you are in a trouble, go away, far away from me. This is their attitude. They're very, very indifferent people, and they are very much greedy.
Next. So, do you have like people that have been test positive of COVID when you are living in Maldives?
Sure, a lot. Almost everyone.
Oh. Oh my God! Really?
Really?
Like,
really?
Oh.
Yes.
So,
almost everyone.
Do you know anybody who have like health issues that have been left after they are getting COVID?
Well, I just reached into Maldives. I live in a hotel, and then the hotel staff, right? The hotel staff, he got a COVID 1 year back, a COVID positive. Yes. And then later on, his wife, his children, blah, blah. And then his brother, no vaccine, nothing. His brother in the past 2 years, always negative. It's very strange, right? And then, yeah, and it's very interesting. In Maldives, almost everyone in the past, they got positive before. And no matter government let them go to check, or they have to be checked, or some other way. The only service during the COVID-19, the government I saw they doing for the people is they gave free samples, which is donated by China government, right? It's a very great, huh? I really want to laugh about this, okay? And then the government is doing some kind of free service for COVID test. That's the only service that I saw during the COVID time. Yeah, your question is... right now, I think in Maldives, almost everyone, they get COVID positive before, or maybe in the future. But since it's there right now, even they get positive, they don't go to hospital check anymore. They just they just feel like, okay, I got COVID. Maybe I'm positive. Maybe it's a cold. Maybe it's a fever. Maybe it's just a common. Like a similar disease with COVID, they don't go to check. Then if they don't go to hospital check, the government don't counter them, right?
Yes.
And the government don't have a time, and government staff is you are COVID-19 positive, and then go to quarantine. If this country being quarantine, this country will be die.
Yes, I understand. So now in Maldives, literally, there's many percentage of people that have been test positive or are been test positive of COVID, but that nobody see this as a very a fact disease or anything. It's just like a fever, like getting sick, getting cold. It's the same things, and they only have to maybe some of people who are will like to quarantine themselves, but they're just seeing it as a normal disease in their life, right?
Actually, COVID in the future, it's gonna be just like a heavier flu. They will come along with human beings, right? As long as this virus not die, they might be always be there. And I cannot say locking down will be the only policy to stop the virus spreading. If like this way, then each individual will be like a lonely planet. I don't see this is really right policy to do. Again, okay. And then in Maldives, like this, almost all of their population catched COVID before or now or in the future. But the thing is like a trial, okay? If the one say, oh, I got COVID 19, I got the COVID virus, I go to hospital to check. You see, I got COVID positive. And then everybody's far away from you. This is like these people being truthful, right? But if he being truthful, then he got into trouble. So what will you choose? The most people will say, oh, okay, I got COVID-19. I don't go to hospital to check. I don't know. My father also got positive. My wife also got positive. What can you do? I'm going to separate with my wife. I'm going to separate with my 80 years old father. But we won't do that. It's really
Yeah, I see that. Yes.
unhuman.
Is there any good thing that you think that's happened during the COVID and the COVID lockdown?
Oh, sure. There are a lot of good things. Huh? I feel like COVID somehow, because you cannot back to your own, like you cannot back to your family, you get a lot of financial pressure. You know, this is kind of like practical way or material way that you are suffering. But if you think about spiritual way, COVID somehow make you deeply thinking about who you are and what you're doing, what's your mission on this planet. And in somehow, it's kind of inspired me to think about this a lot more than before, because during the COVID, it's really arousing too much public, social distance. I saw people's heart become somehow more and more isolated, lonely, or indifferent. This is actually hurting me in a way that I feel like human shouldn't be like this. It's so if you see the positive way COVID-19, this virus, make me I can get any kind of benefit. Maybe it's like I was think more deeply about how human beings should be, like in a universal way, to to practice spirituality in a reality way. You know what I'm talking about? It's like there's supposed to be something like good, like holiness in human, that everything being truthfulness, sympathy. But when the COVID happened, people really dares not to speak out the truth. Whoever speak out the truth, this one is a freak. Okay? Whoever showing kind of sympathy to the other people think about why you kind of like doing such silly things. And it's kind of like these people who showing the sympathy as human, they are the one silly, they are the one, innocent. So I don't believe in this way. I still doing things like benefit myself. I still try my best to help the people surrounding me. Well, I feel like if there's a way to make people so much more remote to each other or far away from each other, it's going to be something also can connect people's heart. So this is the way that I'm thinking. So during my difficult time, I feel so much depressed, frustration, and hopeless. It's like you don't know what's your future. I use a lot of spiritual principles to like positively psychological way to guide myself. Otherwise, I feel like I cannot overcome this difficulty.